everyone, good morning and happy November? Yeah, where's the year gone? Okay, anyway, so it is currently November 2nd when I'm filming this, so don't know what time or day it's gonna eventually be released, but we're currently at the beginning of November, so I know it's also daylight savings today, so that was kind of a fun experience to step out my clock and not get disoriented when I woke up this morning. But I've got a couple things I need to get done today, so I figured, hey, let's just spend the Sunday together. Let's spend the first Sunday of the new month together and plan out our month, plan on stuff for the week, and clean up a little bit and provide some reading updates. So welcome. My name is Hannah if you're new here, or welcome back if you're a veteran of this channel. So what I'm currently working on right now is some laundry, because I know I need to get that done, and I also decided to bake myself some pumpkin muffins for breakfast this morning. I got some pumpkin bread and muffin mix from Trader Joe's last week, so that was super fun. I finally decided to get baking on those this morning because I had time, and plus I could probably just bake them in a batch and then save them for whatever, or I could probably just bring them into the office for work for everyone else to enjoy. I'll figure out, worst case, I've got some options available. So I do not have Pilates as far as I'm aware this morning, because I think my instructor was going on a trip and she was flying back today, hence why no class day, but I will probably get some cleaning done. I also need to start putting away anything super Halloween, because unfortunately Halloween is over. I'm sad, but I am still gonna keep some minor fall stuff up, just because look, we're still in November. I'm gonna honor fall and we're gonna enjoy it for as long as we can until Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas to You is fully defrosted and we're officially in Christmas. So I need to figure out what can stay up for general fall or what needs to be put away since it's more specifically Halloween. So that's on my agenda for this morning and going into this afternoon, depending on how much I get done. But one thing I know I do want to do today is continue to read more and to also get to the movies so I can see the Black Phone too, because I finally watched the first one I think a couple weeks ago, and I know with the second one coming out that I wanted to finally get that off my bucket list. So I'm thinking I might go to like at 12, somewhere around 12:30. There's a showing happening at one of my local theaters, so I'm thinking I want to go to that, maybe just double check some shops to see what they've got for Christmas stuff. I feel pretty solid on what I've curated over the years for Christmas, but I don't want to go super crazy and get stuff that I don't necessarily need. But I'll keep my eyes open for anything, and if anything speaks to me, that if I don't see that again, I'm gonna get very upset that I need to buy it right then and there kind of stuff. But I might just do some light window shopping. But there was stuff that I did get yesterday at Bath and Body Works when I was out and about getting some stuff. Here's kind of a little bit of what I got from the Bath and Body Works stuff yesterday. This is not sponsored by them. I just decided to get stuff for myself because I wanted to. So I noticed they're rolling out their holiday Christmas stuff, but I got some refillable hand soap, the foaming kind. So I got one that was in frosted cranberry, the other in fresh balsam. I normally like this flavor because I had this flavor in a candle last year that I think I finished already, but I normally like the smell. And then I got, like I said, the frosted cranberry. When I tested this flavor at the store, I really liked it, so I definitely want to give this a try. So I know I've got some of the refillable bottles for myself as like Christmas presents for my sister last year. So I've really been enjoying those, and that's been helping me out so much instead of just like going through regular bottle of soap. So when the time comes and when I'm ready to refill my soaps, I've got these to play with. And then, speaking of soaps, I also got this Simmer and Spice bottle that I'm going to put in my kitchen, because I know I'm working off an old bottle over there with just doing the refills, and I need to switch it out soon, but I'm going to let that one finish off. But when that time comes, I'm going to use the Simmer and Spice bottle and scent, so that will be very, very fun. So, little hand sanitizers. I've been trying to go with more of the moisturizing ones just because I know I get this issue where I get dry hands whenever I like wash my hands too much, to the point where my skin just goes dry, my knuckles start getting all crackly and disgusting. So I really am trying to do more of a moisturizing hand sanitizer if I need to sanitize my hands. So I got two different types. I got one that's snow peach berry and one that is gingerbread bakery. I know I like more of the fruity scents when I get my candles or my any scent wise. And I like peaches, I do. And then I also am a nut for the gingerbread one, so I figured these are both perfect and they'll give my hands a little moisturization. So there we go. Ooh, okay, candle. I got this one, Bright Christmas Morning. This is also a fruit one. I think this one is, we'll look at the ingredients right now for this. So it's ripe red berries, blood orange, and crisp apple. It smells amazing, and again, it's a fruity flavor, which I personally like in a candle. So this is very delicious. I am very excited to start burning this one when I can, but I know I still have a bunch of fall candles that I need to finish up first. I've got my one from IKEA going that I got back in August, September. I can't remember the exact date I got it, but I'm on the last little bits of that one, so I'm gonna let that one finish off and then switch over to this. But when I get time to eventually start putting out the Christmas stuff, I did get myself some new wallflower things and a candle stand. I don't know if I have talked about this on this channel or not, but I know I'm not normally a big Christmassy person. I used to be when I was a kid, but I think since the pandemic onward, I've been a little bit more open to it, just because I'm like, you know what? I need a little bit of joy. I just need to feel an emotion that's not ooky spooky Halloween. So I've been getting more back into it. And I know one of the things I used to love growing up was the Nutcracker. Still love that story. I think it's great. Recently, Bath & Body Works just came out with this new Nutcracker candle stand, which I think is so cute. The moment I saw this, I got so excited because, again, I love the story and it fits so perfectly in the theme, and I can put it up every year. So that is my candle stand that can light up. It's just I don't have batteries in it yet. And then I also have this little wallflower plug that I'm also super excited to use. And then I got this, where'd it go? I got Bright Christmas Morning in a wallflower plug-in, so that will go into here when the time comes. But again, I still gotta get for my fall scents. That's what I've got going on right now for a little Bath & Body Works holiday land haul. Let me go check out my muffins because the oven just beeped. Okay, we're back. First round of muffins is now currently cooling, and I have a second batch going in the oven right now. I kind of had a little oopsie with one of them, so I had to kind of clean that up real quick and quickly switch it out, but it's okay. We're all good, and we got muffins going, and I totally think that I would fail Great British Baking Show if I ever joined it. Alright, so, reading. What am I reading right now? I'm working my way through a couple books. So, first one is the sequel to the Houses of Loring Hollow series that I started reading last year. So this one is the Reverie of Recompense. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Yeah, so this is the second book of the Loring Hollow series. I was kind of a little confused when I got back into it because I haven't read the first book in a year. So it's kind of a little weird jumping back into this world, but I still love Joan Schlott. She is a baddie. We love her. And we're getting a lot more lore into the world right now and other people that are interacting besides the immortals and the founders of Lorien Hollow. So this is still really fun. It's just a little slow, but I do like it. So that's what I'm on right now. And then I'm also currently listening to the audiobook of Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. So I was trying to find books on my TBR that I could probably do as an audiobook just to kind of help speed up my reading. And I found Play Nice on Spotify yesterday afternoon. So I'm probably an hour or so into it. That one is surprisingly funny. There have been moments where I've been walking around in stores yesterday and just busting out laughing for no reason because the dialogue and the writing style is so funny. It is so funny. I love it. It's just so crazy because last year I read Cackle by that author and I kind of had mixed feelings about that one. But I am enjoying Play Nice right now. We haven't gotten into anything super scary yet. I know it is supposed to be a haunted house, kind of supernatural, some demon thing living in the house when they were growing up ordeal. We just haven't gotten there yet. It's still very slow. The main character, Cleo, just got to her mom's funeral. So we're building. It's getting there. I'm trusting the process with it though. So I'm having a great time reading it. So those are my two current reads right now. Also, now that it's still in my mind, the book is sitting right here. In the last video, remember how I was talking about this book, Blood on Our Tongue? I kind of did not end up enjoying this towards the end. And let me explain. So, like I said, the first half of this book was so phenomenal. Even though it took me a while to get into the story, just with work going on and everything, that I didn't really allow myself time to read this. When I got into this, I got into it, and that first half of the story was so well done. It definitely moved fast. It built on the suspense. It really got you with the body horror elements. And then after that moment, the book just fizzled out, and the second half of the story just went in a direction that I didn't particularly care for. So, heads up right now, we're gonna get into spoiler territory, so if you do not want to find out all the nitty-gritty details about Blood on Our Tongue, please fast forward. I'll let post-editing me figure out when you're safe to start watching this video again if you don't want spoilers for this, so you have been warned. Yeah, so basically this vampire thing was really this little ooey gooey parasite that had taken over Sarah. You know that something's up with her, you know that somehow she's gotten turned. Where really it's kind of this parasitic entity that's now controlling Sarah. And even though she's saying oh yeah, well, I still am your sister because I have so many of her memories, but I'm also not your sister, kind of ordeal going on. That part I didn't mind. I felt like that the whole reveal of her explaining what she was felt so info-dumpy that it would have worked narrative-wise to maybe have a perspective of the parasite, maybe going back through the Bog Lady's memories and then going through Sarah's memories as well, because we got snippets in epistolary style of what Sarah was going through when she found the Bog body, newspaper clippings from the the first body the parasite was in, the bog body, Marianne, her name is. And like those parts were fantastic. I wish that kept up throughout the story. I mean, there's like one part at the end in the epilogue. I'll get into that in a second, but it almost felt like we needed another perspective to help explain what was going on and the parasite's reasoning for existing, because we were so trapped in Lucy's head the entire time. And the author does give fair warning that this book is about toxic codependency between twins. And while I get it and I understood what she was trying to point out, basically the story ends with Lucy, even though she's upset with the monster for killing her sister, that she still ends up defending the monster and ends up killing Michael and Arthur, the two guys in the story, because they were going to try to commit Sarah / not Sarah, which, understandable, that's fine, but the dynamic between Lucy and Sarah, yes, like I said, is so toxic, but Lucy barely does anything to try to find her own independence. Everything she does is so revolved around Sarah. She had no personality. I think that's so much of my issue with the story, is that there was no progression of her learning how to become her own person. And like, it just kind of broke my heart in a way, because like, if that was the point of the story, then it should have been said, or at least implied in some way of like, hey, take this as a cautionary tale, do not romanticize or glorify this, but it felt like the story did. And I get that with gothic horror, that you're kind of dabbling in that territory of like what's glorified versus what needs to be seen as a cautionary tale, not necessarily romanticized. That's kind of like my whole problem with that, is like sometimes like the line really is unclear. And if that was the whole point of the story, then why was it not prevalent? Like, I felt like it was trying to either be Lucy learning to having to let go of her twin and accept her grief and accept the fact that she spent her whole life trying to please other people, to be what they want, so that way she could feel fulfilled, when she needs to really be her own person, but also tackling how society in the 1800s treated mental illness and treated women back in the day. There could have been a better way to combine both of those elements, but it didn't have a good balance. I think that was why the second half really fell apart for me, because it was trying to tackle both of those things at once, and there was no real cohesion. Like, there's this whole subplot with their aunt, Adelheid, I think is how you pronounce her name. Anyway, Lucy and Sarah's aunt, she was like a kind of like a gardener in her own way. She was like an academic. She had this servant Vera that she had a secret relationship with, and she ends up getting committed and sent off to an insane asylum. And the reason why I bring up the whole aunt subplot is I feel like it could have, that the whole vampirism element could have been a more overarching metaphor for something else. And this is kind of where I've been rewriting a little bit in my brain of how I wish I would have liked to have seen this novel go. Is that if you're going to bring up this aunt and what happened to her, that I felt like the vampirism could have been a metaphor for the trauma that both Lucy and Sarah faced from it. That you had Sarah, the dominating twin, that she really becomes like kind of like this alpha, and she has to feel like she has to take more control because she doesn't want anyone to hurt her. And eventually when she succumbs to this parasite or this vampire, that she's realizing that all the prickly walls that she built up to protect herself really are falling apart, and how turning yourself into this thing can be a metaphor for how trauma eats away at you and if you keep shoving it aside, that it's eventually going to boil over. And same with kind of like Lucy, that like if vampirism was the metaphor for the trauma, that she had to belittle and make herself so small and conform to whatever society wanted her to be, or just follow along with whatever people want, because she didn't want anyone to suspect her and hurt her. And eventually gets to the point where she has to learn to be her own person. And you could still have like those elements of female rage and all that, but allowing Lucy to have that emancipation for herself. And I feel like that could have probably made for such a stronger novel. Like, you could still talk about the toxic codependency between the siblings, but if you had that whole subplot of their backstory really be the root of the vampirism and let that metaphor play out, I think it could have been a lot more successful. Because there was something that the author brought up in, like there's bonus book content at the version that I have that has an interview with the author, and she had brought up something about, oh crap, what was it? She brought up something about like mercy kills in here. That's what it was. It was mercy killing. That typically in a horror, like if you had a loved one that like transformed to like if they became a zombie or if they became a vampire and you didn't want that person to suffer anymore, like if there was like a way to mercy kill them, like you do see that a little bit subverted in the story, in that instead of having Lucy mercy kill Sarah, that she just accepts her as who she is and they still continue to stay together, you still could subvert the mercy kill element of just allowing the monster to be, while also not giving into their temptation and not giving into their will. Again, I had a really hard time with how the second part of this novel was developed and portrayed. I really am sad to say that this is going to get 3 stars, because this book made me mad. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with my opinion on this book. If you have read it and maybe you have a different angle of how you interpreted the story, or if you kind of saw the same elements I did, please let me know. I am curious just to see what other people think and how they interpreted the story. So we'll let that lay to rest. So that's kind of my rating updates as of right now. I'm going to continue to work on my chores until I am ready to go see my movie, but I will try to check back in with y'all when I can. So thank you for letting me do this silly little rainbow for about a few minutes, and yeah, happy Sunday. Okay, hi friends. Finally back home, and oh my god, Black Phone 2 was intense. I would dare say I think I like that more than the first one. It was definitely a lot creepier and a lot more, it felt like Nightmare on Elm Street in a lot of ways. So I really enjoyed that element, and it did make me tear up. So any movie that makes me tear up and cry automatically gets like 4 stars and higher. Just as a quick note. But yeah, no, it was a good movie, and I think it was good that I have watched the first one a couple weeks prior, just so I can get a little bit of a feel of what exactly is going on and who the characters are and the lore of the world that we're going into with the Black Phone universe. Yeah, so I think I would give this like 4.25 out of 5 stars if I had to do like a 5-star scale for this. So that was really good. And then I just walked around a couple shops at the shopping center, and I didn't really see anything that I liked, so I just ended up coming back home. But I stopped by CVS just to get myself some vitamin stuff, just because flu season's around and I don't want to run any chances of getting sick. So I'm just trying to top off my vitamins, make sure I'm all squared away there. And then I am going to have dinner with my family later tonight, probably like around 6. So probably just going to do some more chores before I skedoodle, because as you can tell over there, the tree's gone. And soon enough, the Christmas tree will go over where our little Halloween buddy once was. But for right now, like I said, I'm probably just going to leave some basic fall up just to kind of keep within the spirit of November. And then I will eventually swap these for Christmas when it gets closer to Thanksgiving. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So, I listened to more of Play Nice, and we're definitely starting to get into the scary stuff, so that's good. And we're finally getting to hear the voice of the mom who died, so that's been very interesting so far. Again, I'm still only in the baby stages, so we shall see how the story progresses. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and continue to listen to more of that while I continue to do some chores around here, and then I'm going to beep up over to my folks' place, have dinner with them, and then we'll come back here and wrap up for the evening. Sounds like a plan? Cool. Dark outside. Alright, now we are back home, and I started working on a little bit more laundry, and I also took a bath for myself, which was fantastic. Very much needed that. So, dinner was very good. We had a little bit of a homemade chicken gnocchi soup, and then we had a very delicious shepherd's pie. So that was all fantastic, and it was very, very good. Now we just watched a little bit of YouTube together and just chit-chatted, so it ended up being a good night. So I'm probably going to read more of this before I crash out and go to bed, because I've made a lot of progress with Play Nice, but I want to read more of this. So might take you on with me really quick to kind of get some more reading done of this before I crash out and go to bed. So sweet. Joe's just having a rough day. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna kind of like side tangent over here. What's going on in the story? So, spoilers in advance. There's like this whole thing where I guess Jonah's like the reincarnated lost love of this guy named Sagas, who was Bastion in the founding times. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but now they're suddenly like, oh yeah, we're in love, like, oh my god, I forgot about you, and it's like, you just met this man yesterday, like, what? Yeah, I don't get it. This is going way too fast, and I'm like, whoa. Like, if this was at this section, like back here, I get it. not even turned into the book yet. Slow the hell down, y'all. What are you doing? Oh no. Oh brother, we are in trouble here.